Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Geek Homeworld. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich, here on the Geek Homeworld, and you can subscribe, like, and follow on our social media. We are on YouTube at Geek Homeworld, so my call to action is that you make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to build that YouTube channel there, and we talk about things here on the podcast that are in the geek culture, and we're talking about the Batman. This is going to be our review, and there may be spoilers, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second, but like I said, you can like and subscribe and follow us on wherever your podcast you get or whatever, and also in YouTube, and we're on all the podcast app directories, so you can definitely check us out there, and let us know what you think, and follow us on Twitter. We are at Geek Homeworld. We're Geek Homeworld on Twitter, and we're on Instagram as Geek Homeworld, and we're always looking for new and exciting people to have on this show. And it's been a hot minute or so. It's our last new episode was episode, I think, 157 back in June, and it was a live stream of Loki series, and there's been a lot going on. We're into 2022. When I'm recording this, it's about to turn into March 6th, so March 5th, March 6th of 2022. And I got to go opening night. It was actually an opening afternoon to see The Batman with Robert Pattinson, and directed by Matt Reeves, and he was also a writer on that. And we who else was in there? You know, Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman, of course, Robert Pattinson. How would he do as Batman? And we're going to talk about all of that. And we had Jeffrey Wright playing Lieutenant James Gordon, not Commissioner Gordon, not yet. But we have Colin Farrell as Oz, or the Penguin, and he's not officially going by the Penguin. This is more a Batman kind of year two. So we have Paul Dano, who's fantastic as the Riddler, and John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. Andy Serkis plays the role of Alfred, so fantastic job there. District Attorney Gil Colson was Peter Sarsgaard, and he did a fantastic job. This is just, just going down the line. It's a fantastic film, and it's about roughly 175 minutes, so solid 2.5, almost 3 hour film. There was a possible 4 hour cut of the film, and they cut it down for theaters, and I almost made it through without a bathroom break, but it didn't quite get there. And there was one kind of pivotal scene, and I just I had to run real quick to the restroom and get back as soon as possible. And I was trying to listen because you could hear the theater. I saw it in AMC at the Big D, and it's nice to see finally, we're maybe getting towards the end of the pandemic, maybe into an endemic, or at least this is a pause in it. And it was nice to go into theater. People were still kind of spaced out a little bit on the seating, but it felt more relaxed. I felt more relaxed in the theater, and it was a rare 1 p.m. show, so I didn't go to like the 7 o'clock show or 7 or 8 o'clock because it just happened to work out that I was able to go to that 1 o'clock show, and I'm kind of glad I did. Now, back in December, that was the last time I was in a theater, I believe, to see Spider-Man Far From Home, which I've only seen once in the theater, and I saw it in the Big D at AMC. And that's gone on to like $1.8 billion worldwide. Definitely the biggest film of last year, still number one well into 2022. And now Uncharted is had its 2 to 3 weeks at the top of the box office chart, so Tom Holland's killing it. But anyway, it was a fantastic. I really was just glued to the film. I'd say 85 to maybe 90. Actually, it was probably 95% of the time. Robert Pattinson was the Batman. He was on screen. And the thing I like about this film, and you've probably heard this in other videos and said maybe more eloquently, is that this was truly a detective story. And I've been hearing comparisons to Saw and some of the brutality of the film. I could see where they could have really pushed it a little farther and made it a rated R film. But it was really intense. How did Robert Pattinson do? I thought he gave a great performance. There were stellar performances for everyone in this film. And like I said, it's kind of like Batman Year 2. So he's been fighting crime. He's still a little rough around the edges. I don't even know that they necessarily call him Batman in this film. I think they may once or twice, but honestly, they call him Vengeance, especially Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz, who does a fantastic job in putting her own stamp on a role that was probably best known by Michelle Pfeiffer, is one of the best Catwomen, and unless you go back to, of course, the Adam West Batman. Yvonne DiCarlo, is that her name? I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that name. And of course, Eartha Kitt. They both did their definitive versions of Catwoman. So we've had plenty of Catwomen throughout, and we're not talking about the Halle Berry version because that was not good. That film was not good at all. And sorry, Halle, but it was a very intense film. I'm not going to do is it as good as or better than The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight will always be probably one of the penultimate comic book films of all time, let alone one of the best films that I've ever seen. And Christopher Nolan hit all the right cues in that. And I mean, that's defined a generation of filmmaking. Every iteration of Batman has to be, more grungy and violent. But this honestly felt like a totally different take. And I can definitely say that Matt Reeves did a fantastic job with this film. He took the material, and I feel like, one of the good things, and like I said, I'm going to say spoilers, because it's definitely spoilers. So if you have not seen the film, please do not continue to watch this until you've seen it. Or if you're listening to this as in podcast form on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, if you're listening Spotify or wherever, Anchor, whatever your podcast format you're listening to, Geek Homeworld podcast, I would definitely say, or if you're watching the video, I would definitely say please come back after you've seen it to this, because we're about to enter into spoilers territory. So you have been warned. Following this will be spoilers, okay? So Robert Pattinson puts his own stamp on it. All the characters do. Oz, or the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, and it's a very intense film. It starts off intense and it keeps your interest. And I I was one person that was kind of cheering a little bit when you finally see the Batmobile show up in the film, and you've seen the pictures, you've seen the previews, so it's it looks like this looks and feels like someone today, if they had, you know, the means, and that they could, that would be the Batmobile that they would have, essentially a muscle car, kind of souped up muscle car. So totally believable. It felt like there were very few things that felt like they were. It felt like practical effects is what I'm getting at, basically, and there was an authenticity to this. Matt Reeves jokingly said that we're coming for you, Christopher Nolan, you know, and who knows? Could there be sequels to this? Well, there certainly is an end credit scene, which will probably surface on the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever streaming version of this. But there was a longer scene that was cut from the film, and if you know what I'm talking about, totally in the spoiler territory here. You get a character at the end, and that character at the end, Matt Reeves said he did not make it with the Batman and making it the idea of making it a sequel. Um, he said that he basically, you know, this is gonna be what it is, and he just made the film, and he cut this scene down that this particular character had, and I'm not gonna say the character because I guess I've already said spoilers, but still, this particular character was not in. He has a conversation in the end when, you know, the Joker's caught and everything, and so it could be said that that character could show up, but it doesn't necessarily mean he will or won't. So, you know, I hope that character does show up in some state or form, but what is that character's name? Let's see. I'm trying to find the actor here. Uh, he's credited as Unseen Arkham Prisoner. Barry, I'm gonna say it wrong. Kiergan, which you probably know from Dunkirk, Eternals, and he played. I'm looking here. That's writer's cast. Okay, he played. Let's find him here. His character's name. He played Druig and all that in Eternals. So that's probably the last big thing you've seen him in. He's also been in The Green Knight and Dunkirk back in 2017, among other films. But there's no guarantee that he's going to be that character in the future, or if he's not. But he definitely rises to the occasion and is fantastic. You know, I mean, even the look of it, they got down just in case. You know, the shape of the face. I read a very interesting article about that. So, should you go see it? Oh, most definitely. I'd see it on the biggest, best screen you could see it. It's not necessary, but I always enjoy at least Big D when I'm watching film, and the sound design on this film is haunting, and it's very good. The atmosphere of Gotham really feels more lived in, and there are some parts where, you know, it's really kind of grandiose, and, you know, the architecture type, the set dressing as it were in the real world, but that felt a little bit, you know, over the top, you know, that's really gothic, you know, and really Gotham, you know, and If you're watching this, of course, the video you're seeing, I'm wearing here my old Batman shirt I have, which the logo looks a lot different. So, um, what can I say about it? It's a masterpiece of a film. Does it have issues? Yes, probably in the third act it gets a little lengthy. Could they have cut 20, 30 minutes out of it? Most definitely. But I still was really hyped to see this film. I wanted to see it, and I just think it really delivered. And it delivered on, I agree with the comparisons to Seven and some of the brutality of it. Like the Riddler is very hardcore in this, and I did hear someone in the theater say, "Well, he wasn't as good as Heath Ledger's Joker." Well, it's a different character, of course, and so did the comparisons, did it live up to it? It's a worthy to be in the top films of the Batman pantheon. It's right up there with The Dark Knight. I can't say it's better, and it's funny as time goes on, and time and and as time rolls by, we look at Batman from 1989 with Michael Keaton, and of course Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and that seems, even though those films look a little dark, for that was like 89, so it's into the 80s going into the 90s, and it still had the bright colors and stuff, but it was Tim Burton's version of it, so of course it looked very kind of gothic. It had a retro kind of feel to it, his style of things, but Batman in 1989, that was dark for the times. Now it doesn't look as dark. Then when you get to The Dark Knight, that felt more like it could exist in this real world. And of course, Heath Ledger's performance in that is and always will be legendary, and definitely one of the best Jokers we've ever seen. And I'm counting Mark Hamill in there because even though he voiced the Joker, he's been fantastic. Um, but when you look at the tone of the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, but especially Dark Knight, and then you look at The Batman by Matt Reeves, you'll see that this just feels really dark, and I like the fact that it's a different type of Batman, that there's so much detective work going on, but there is an argument to be made that even there are a few little basic things about, like, maybe you should know Spanish before if Batman knew Spanish, you might have solved an integral part of this, one of the riddles, had he known Spanish or thought about that. But the interesting thing about it is that it still works. The film still works. It's still fantastic. It's very worthy to be called a Batman film, and it's definitely something that you should check out. And I want to look at real quick here. We're going to switch over a little bit and let's see how it's done. Now, it did come out. There was a Tuesday IMAX screening, which it did, I think, about 5 million. I could be off on those numbers. But if we're looking at the gross here, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen here so you can see it a little bit better. And this is just through, if we're looking here on the screen here, and let me just see if I can interact with this particular video I have up here. Where are we at? Side by side. Okay, excuse me. So yeah, I want to look at one thing here, and I'm going to kind of show you the box office for Batman. And if you look at it, you will see, I don't know if you can see on the screen there, as I'm looking at, let's see, daily box office. This is not updated. I'm just looking at Box Office Mojo here, but the Batman right here, counting through as of March 5th, which was actually through Thursday's numbers. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, and then I don't know that it was out Wednesday or Thursday, but anyway, 57 million. So that's big. And then this weekend's going to be massive. They are projecting that it will open, the Batman will open over 100 million, and I have no reason to doubt that. The word of mouth on this has got to be good. I haven't looked at the Rotten Tomato score or anything like that, but I'm sure it is way up there. It clocks in, if you see right here, a time of 2 hours and 55 minutes, so literally 5 minutes short of 3 hours. Did it feel like that? Somewhat, but it still was enjoyable. It still was, I was really riveted by the film. I think Matt Reeves just did a fantastic job with it. Internationally, it's done just short. This is through Thursday now. And when I'm recording this, it's Saturday. It's actually technically March 6th, so later on today, probably when you'll hear this, it'll actually be Sunday, March the 7th, 2022. But through the Thursday numbers, the last reporting numbers they have, the Batman had done just short of 11 million international, and domestically 57 million. So 57 million, almost 11,000, 57 million and 11,000 bucks basically. And so that's a strong start. And what else can we tell you about it here? So that's that. So we expect that to be pretty good on the strong box office there. And if you're looking here at the video, if you're watching the video here, you'll see you'll see in the video here, I've got our Geek Homeworld website up there. We're on Facebook, Instagram. I even got it linked to LinkedIn. You can subscribe to the RSS feed, listen on Deezer, listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Google Podcasts. I prefer Google Podcast. I'm an Android kind of guy, so I'm always listening to lots of podcasts on Google. So I like that. Of course, on Spotify too. I sometimes will listen to Spotify as well. So Geek Homeworld is there as well. Our YouTube channel, we're really looking for subs. We need subscribers on the Geek Homeworld channel. And if you're geeky enough and you want to talk about things like this, and we talk about AI, we talk about a little bit of astrophysics and stuff like that, and I've delved into some of that, but I really like talking about like science fiction film and TV, and that's kind of our bread and butter, so to speak. I really like talking about stuff like that, but also anything in like the geek culture, it's kind of geeky and techy. Definitely I'm interested in talking. So if you want to hit us up, Geek Homeworld on our Twitter, we're at Geek Homeworld, Facebook, Geek Homeworld, and we also have a little gaming channel, which I'll pop that up there. By the way, you can listen. It says you can also listen. We're on Radio Public. Some of these that I'm going to, I don't know where they're going. But what was the other thing I'm gonna flash this little logo across here. You'll see in just a second if you're watching the video here. And we have a website on Facebook, and I'll do some gaming on there. It's Geek Homeworld Gaming. That's on Facebook. You can go there and like and follow that page, as well as, but the main page is the Geek Homeworld. And so you can go there and check that out. And even though we've done the I do some gaming and live streaming on Geek Homeworld, but I'll do it on the what do you call it? I'll do it and put it on the YouTube channel for Geek Homeworld. So everything will end up there. All our videos, and hopefully you'll watch them and you'll interact with them, comment on them. And I plan on doing some more live streams and with some gaming and stuff. And we'll see. Whatever I feel like doing. One of my favorite games of all time is Command and Conquer. I've done some of that. I've done a lot of Left 4 Dead 2 on there, which I enjoy playing, and maybe we'll play some other games on there, or you'll see me play some other games and interact that way. Anywho, so yeah, we're talking a lot about just the fantastic success of Batman, and so anyway, what else can I say about the Batman? Rush out to see it. There's probably going to be big crowds, and hopefully we're almost done with the pandemic. We're at least, if not done with it, maybe it's on pause. Still do your whatever your protocols call for, and I hope you get out into the theaters and see it. Now, my understanding is there's going to be a 45-day release window on uh, the Batman. Unlike Spider-Man No Way Home, which had a complete, as of this moment, still theatrical run, but they've announced a release date that it's coming out on 4K, Blu-ray, and I guess DVD still around, and streaming, of course, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And so I believe it's going to show up on Stars. It's like one of those streaming services or networks I don't have, so I'm like, oh, that sucks. But I'm super hyped for a lot of films that have been pushed back a year or so, and or 6 months at least, and one of those coming up in May, which is already supposed to have been out, I guess, at this point, but COVID and all that stuff, so all the different variants of that pushed everything back. But I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's one I'm really hyped up for. Of course, I'm a Tom Cruise fan, so I think we're getting Top Gun this summer, so I'm excited about that. Mission Impossible 7, I think it's number 7. It got pushed back to next year, so we won't get to see that. But I'm really hoping that Top Gun Maverick, I think it's gonna be freaking awesome. And it's weird because I've been hyped up on a lot of these films, and if you haven't seen a lot of episodes, really, a lot of what we talk about on Geek Homeworld is around film and television. It's just been the last couple of years, other than Disney Plus and a few other things. I wanted to talk about different series, but sometimes it was just not feasible to like weekly talk about it. So I really tried that with Loki, and I wasn't able to really keep with work and other things going on in life. It was just difficult times trying to keep up the pace with doing that. But I'm going to try to do more episodes here at Geek Homeworld, and we always appreciate everybody who's following us and listening. And we really do listen to our viewers. I'm trying to build a community here. In case you're interested, and you're in the Savannah area, but you don't have to be. Connect Savannah is doing their vote for best of, and I got nominated of a couple of things. There's a show that I do with WRUU, and it's on there, but it's mainly on the YouTube channel now. But still technically within this period of time. But Savannah on Film is nominated as one of the best podcasts, and that's the audio version of the radio show. and it's also on YouTube. So you can like and subscribe Savannah on Film and go check that out. We talk to people in the film industry, and we're going to be doing some other things with Savannah on Film. I haven't put out episodes in a little while, but I'm getting back to that too. I'm getting back into the creation aspect of things, and you may have heard over my last couple of videos and some of my game streaming. I was talking on Geek Homeworld here. I was talking about my studio. I'm still contemplating reworking it and all that. It doesn't, from what you can see in the videos, nothing has really changed. But it's there's some things I'm doing within the studio, and maybe I'll give a little tour of the studio one day. I would like to do that once I get everything kind of together and make it look a little bit better and all that. And but anyway, so I guess I'm going to call this an episode, and it's good to be back. I know I've been away for anybody who's been listening for the podcast, the Geek Homeworld podcast, but please like and subscribe. Follow us on your favorite apps or wherever you get your podcast from. We do appreciate it. Also, if you would check out our Facebook page, like and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. If you want to check out Savannah on Film, the best place to check it out is go to Facebook, Savannah on Film, and that'll be all the announcements, where I put all the announcements for what's happening. We have an Instagram account. I think it's Savannah on Film Radio. And then we also have the Twitter is Savannah on Film. So you can follow us on Twitter, Savannah on Film, where we talk to people in the film industry, not just in the Savannah area, but otherwise as well, at all different levels. And we are, what else? We're talking to, the other platforms we're on Instagram, Twitter, and of course Facebook and YouTube. So there is a Savannah on Film YouTube channel, which we just crossed a milestone. I know it's very small for a small creator, but we passed 100 views, and soon on my next episode that I'll do, I'll probably talk about that. So I'm proud of that. Geek Homeworld has considerably less followers, but I'm trying to build that audience, especially on YouTube. And the thing about it is, I'm always going to audio podcast. I'm an audio podcaster, and so I ventured in the last several years in more into video. And so I'm trying to add that video element and build the YouTube channels. And so it's a slow growth, and trying to build a community of followers. So whatever you want to talk about, especially on Geek Homeworld, it's and Savannah on Film to that effect now. Hit me up here, instant message me, whatever, Twitter, Facebook, and so anyway, just check us all out there, and let us know what you think, and what you'd like to see on the show, and maybe you can be on the show. And I want to do more live streams. I want to build like a regular kind of live streaming thing, and maybe around gaming, maybe just talking tech, what's happening, and whatever. I'm always looking for correspondents, people that are willing to put in some time and effort to just bring something to the table to speak about. So, and one day soon, maybe when I get the studio up and running, I can start having guests here in my studio, which would be nice. And once we get past the pandemic and everyone's comfortable with everything, so we'll see. But I can always zoom you in if I have to, and we'll work it out. StreamYard it, whatever. Oops. Hope I didn't disconnect everything there. But anyway, so this has been Geek Libsyn, Google+. Follow and interact with us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on iTunes and leave a review. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Read our thoughts on Blogger. See you again on the Geek Homeworld.